It's interesting, isn't it? We pour so much energy into crafting the perfect image for our businesses, the
Yeah.
logo, the colors, the meticulously worded mission statement.
Yeah, all that stuff.
But what if all that effort is, in a way, secondary? What if your brand boils down to something far more visceral, that instant gut feeling someone else has about you?
That's the core, isn't it?
Understanding that one fundamental truth unlocks a surprising amount of power for anyone trying to build something lasting. Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Hello.
Today we're cutting straight to the heart of brand building, extracting the core wisdom from Marty Neumeier's insightful book, The Brand Gap.
A classic.
Think of this as your essential guide to the 7 key disciplines that bridge the strategic thinking of business with the often more, intuitive world of design.
That's right. This deep dive is tailored for you, the ambitious learner who's looking for clarity in a sometimes noisy world. We're going to distill the essential principles, giving you a framework to understand why certain brands just resonate deeply. Whether you're leading a company, starting a new venture, or simply curious about what makes a brand stick, we'll provide actionable insights without getting bogged down in, jargon.
Absolutely. So in our conversation today, we're going to explore 7 critical aspects of building a powerful brand. First, we'll get to the core of why your brand isn't what you declare it to be, but rather that feeling in your customer's gut.
The gut feeling.
Crucial. Then we'll tackle the vital necessity of standing out the art of differentiation in a marketplace overflowing with options.
So many options.
Third, we'll look at why collaboration, both inside and outside your organization, is absolutely crucial for creating a brand that's both strong and consistent.
Following that, we'll dive into the power of innovation, not just for growth, but for truly capturing the imagination. Then we'll examine the often underestimated step of validating your brand ideas before you launch them into the world.
Right, testing first.
Sixth, we'll discuss how to cultivate a lasting brand character through consistent actions and deeply held values. And finally, we'll connect all the dots by looking at how to strategically align your brand efforts with your overarching business objectives.
Looks like a plan.
We'll be right here to unpack each of these areas, offering clear perspectives and real-world examples as we go.
Okay, let's unpack this first core idea. Your brand isn't some polished message you broadcast. It's that immediate, instinctive gut feeling someone experiences when they encounter your product, service, or organization. It's their perception that reigns supreme.
What's fascinating here is that this perspective really flips the script on conventional thinking. We often spend so much time crafting what we want our brand to be, the image we aim to project. But the real leverage comes from understanding and shaping that internal feeling within your customers.
And for you listening, grasping this shift offers some significant advantages. For starters, it makes you deeply customer-centric. You begin to tailor everything your offerings, your communication, to connect with that emotional core and create a much deeper resonance.
Precisely, and that directly fosters stronger brand loyalty. When you consistently meet or even exceed those unspoken expectations, when you truly understand and cater to those gut feelings, you build trust and create much more enduring customer relationships.
Plus, it makes your communication far more impactful. When you truly see your brand through your customers' eyes, you can craft messages that genuinely speak to their needs and desires in a way that feels authentic and relevant.
Yeah.
Now, what are the potential downsides if you overlook this fundamental truth?
Well, if you ignore that underlying gut feeling, you face the very real risk of your messaging completely missing the mark. You might be communicating one thing while your audience is experiencing something entirely different.
Exactly. And that disconnect inevitably leads to a weak and unclear brand identity. If there's a misalignment between what you intend and what people actually perceive, your brand simply won't have any real substance or lasting impact.
And perhaps most critically, you can miss out on significant market opportunities. By failing to understand those fundamental customer needs and desires, those very gut feelings that drive their decisions, you might not develop products or services that truly resonate and solve their problems effectively.
So how do some companies in the USA really demonstrate an understanding of this principle? Take Amazon. They offer a vast array of products, but the dominant gut feeling they've cultivated is one of sheer convenience and dependable reliability in the realm of online shopping.
Right, convenience is key there.
It's not just about the sheer volume of goods, it's about the seamless experience and the trust they've diligently built. The key insight here is that consistent delivery on a core promise builds a powerful, almost subconscious brand association.
That's a fantastic example. And consider Southwest Airlines. They've carved out a distinctive position by fostering a gut feeling of friendly and affordable air travel.
Yeah, the friendly skies, sort of.
It might not be the most luxurious experience, but it's consistently perceived as welcoming and budget conscious. Their company culture plays a significant role in reinforcing that particular feeling.
And then there's Apple. They've masterfully created a gut feeling of premium design, cutting-edge innovation, and intuitive user-friendliness. That perception is so strong that it justifies their higher price points for a significant portion of consumers.
Definitely. Now, let's look at the other side of the coin. Think about competitors who try to emulate Amazon's broad product selection but haven't invested in the same level of logistical efficiency. The gut feeling they often evoke is one of frustration, delayed shipping, confusing return processes, the very antithesis of convenience.
Absolutely. And consider airlines that aggressively cut costs, leading to cramped seating, subpar service, and a barrage of hidden fees.
Ugh, those fees.
The gut feeling there is frequently one of annoyance and feeling nickel and dimed, a stark contrast to the more positive perception Southwest has cultivated.
And in the tech landscape, we've seen companies launch incredibly feature-rich products that end up feeling overly complex and intimidating to many users. The overwhelming gut feeling for many is simply being overwhelmed, lacking that sense of elegant simplicity that Apple has so effectively cultivated.
So for you, the ambitious learner, how do you put this into practice? It all boils down to actively seeking out and understanding what your customers are genuinely feeling. Implement surveys, actively monitor social media for mentions and sentiment, and pay close attention to online reviews.
Yeah, listen to what people are saying.
This continuous feedback loop is invaluable. Use it to constantly refine your offerings, your messaging, and every touch point of your brand experience to intentionally cultivate that desired gut feeling.
Okay, so our second crucial aspect of brand building is the power of differentiation. In today's marketplace, you're often not just competing with a handful of players, you're navigating a vast ocean of options. Neumeier uses the compelling example of over 1,300 different cameras being available.
Wow, that many.
Yeah. In that kind of environment, your brand absolutely must be different simply to capture attention. It taps into our fundamental human tendency to notice what stands out from the ordinary.
Exactly. And for you operating in your own competitive landscape, mastering differentiation brings some significant advantages. The first is increased visibility. A brand that dares to be different naturally captures the attention of potential customers who are constantly bombarded with similar messages and offerings.
And that increased visibility can directly translate into pricing power. When your offering is genuinely perceived as unique and valuable, you often have more flexibility in your pricing strategy. People are often willing to pay a premium for something they believe they can't get anywhere else.
Plus, differentiation leads to stronger brand recall. In those critical moments when a customer is making a purchase decision, a distinctive brand is far more likely to stick in their mind.
Now, what are the potential pitfalls if you fail to differentiate effectively? The most significant risk is becoming a commodity. If your product or service is seen as essentially the same as your competitors, the only real differentiator left is often price, leading to those profit-eroding price wars.
The race to the bottom.
Exactly.
And in that crowded market, if you don't offer something unique, you're going to struggle to attract new customers. People simply won't have a compelling reason to choose you over the numerous other options available.
And ultimately, a lack of differentiation leads to lower customer loyalty. If customers don't perceive any unique value in what you offer, they have no strong incentive to remain loyal and are easily swayed by price or convenience from a competitor.
So let's examine some U.S. companies that have truly excelled at differentiation. Consider Tesla. They didn't just create another car company, they focused entirely on electric vehicles, packed them with cutting-edge technology, and even disrupted the traditional dealership model with their direct-to-consumer approach.
That was huge.
It was a powerful set of differentiators.
Another excellent example is OXO Good Grips. In a market flooded with often uncomfortable and poorly designed kitchen tools, OXO focused on universal design, creating tools that are easy and comfortable for everyone to use, regardless of their grip strength or physical limitations.
I love their stuff.
That simple yet powerful differentiator resonated with a vast market.
And who could forget Dollar Shave Club? They didn't just sell razors. They offered a convenient subscription model delivered right to your door, and their humorous, irreverent marketing completely disrupted the established giants in the shaving industry.
Totally shook things up. Now, let's look at some companies that stumbled by not differentiating effectively. Traditional automakers who were slow to embrace electric vehicle technology initially struggled to compete with Tesla's unique market position and fervent customer base. They lacked that core differentiation.
Right, they were playing catch-up.
Mm-hmm.
And those generic kitchenware brands that continued to produce the same uninspired designs missed the significant opportunity that OXO seized by focusing on user-friendliness and appealing to a much broader range of users.
And the established razor companies. They largely dismissed Dollar Shave Club's subscription model and their quirky marketing approach, initially failing to recognize that a significant segment of consumers was looking for a different, more convenient, and less traditional buying experience.
So for you to apply this, the key is to really dig deep and pinpoint your unique strengths and your core value proposition. What is it that you offer that your competitors simply don't?
What makes you special?
Once you've clearly identified those differentiators, make them the central focus of your product development, your marketing efforts, and your entire customer experience. And remember the focus test, a concept from Neumeier that encourages you to ask, who are you? What do you do? And most importantly, why does it matter?
That why does it matter is crucial.
This clarity is crucial for effective differentiation.
Moving on to our third key principle, we come to the power of collaboration. Building a resilient brand isn't a solitary endeavor. It's fundamentally a collaborative effort, both within the walls of your organization and with trusted external partners. Neumeier draws a compelling parallel to the intricate process of building a cathedral or producing a complex movie. Numerous talents and perspectives are indispensable.
Absolutely. And for you, embracing collaboration can bring significant advantages to your brand building journey. Firstly, it brings diverse perspectives to the table. When you involve individuals with varied skills and viewpoints, you naturally arrive at more creative and ultimately more effective strategies.
Collaboration also fosters increased efficiency. By leveraging the specialized expertise of others, whether they're internal teams with unique knowledge or external partners with specific skills, you can streamline processes and avoid the pitfalls of trying to handle everything in isolation.
And crucially, collaboration cultivates stronger brand consistency. When everyone is working in concert and communicating openly, it ensures that your brand message and the overall customer experience are unified across all touchpoints.
Conversely, a lack of collaboration can lead to some significant hurdles. One of the most common is inconsistent brand messaging. If different teams or individuals operate in silos, they may inadvertently communicate conflicting or disjointed messages, which can confuse your customers and ultimately weaken your brand's impact.
Yeah, the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing.
Exactly.
A failure to collaborate also means you can miss out on valuable opportunities. Siloed thinking can hinder the cross-pollination of ideas and the identification of innovative solutions or potential strategic alliances.
And finally, a lack of collaboration often results in an inefficient allocation of resources. You might see duplication of effort, a lack of coordination between teams, and ultimately wasted time and financial investment.
So let's consider some U.S. companies that truly understand the power of collaboration. Nike, for example, excels at it. They collaborate extensively with athletes, designers, and manufacturers to develop cutting-edge products and maintain their dominant global brand presence.
The Michael Jordan partnership, classic example.
Their long-standing partnership with Michael Jordan is a prime illustration of the impact of strategic collaboration.
Another excellent example is Intuit, the company behind QuickBooks. They actively collaborate with accountants and small business owners to gain a deep understanding of their needs and develop software solutions that truly serve them. This user-centric collaboration is a cornerstone of their brand's success and reliability.
And as Neumeier points out, the Hollywood model of filmmaking, with its inherently collaborative nature involving directors, writers, actors, and countless other specialists, is increasingly relevant to brand building. Even early internet pioneers like Netscape recognized the value of bringing diverse talents together to achieve a common goal.
Right, it takes a village. Now, let's consider some scenarios where a lack of collaboration might lead to missteps. Sports apparel companies that don't genuinely involve athletes in their product development risk creating gear that doesn't quite resonate with their target audience or meet the demands of high performance.
Exactly. And software companies that develop new features in isolation without actively seeking feedback from their user base often end up with products that don't fully address real-world needs or workflows.
And businesses that attempt to manage every facet of their branding internally without seeking external expertise from specialized agencies or consultants may miss out on valuable specialized skills and fresh, objective perspectives.
So for you to effectively apply this principle, the key is to actively cultivate a collaborative environment within your own organization. Break down those internal silos and encourage open communication between teams.
Talk to each other.
And also, be strategic about forging external partnerships. This could involve collaborating with marketing and design agencies, key suppliers, or even directly with your customers. Clearly define roles and responsibilities within these collaborations and ensure you have open and effective communication channels in place to keep everyone aligned with a unified brand vision.
Yeah, and as Neumeier outlines, consider which of the three basic models for organizing brand collaboration, the one-stop shop, the brand agency, or the integrated marketing team, best aligns with your resources and objectives.
Good point.
Our fourth hidden power focuses on innovation. Neumeier emphasizes that genuine creativity is the driving force behind brand engagement and growth in the marketplace. For entrepreneurs, innovation isn't limited to just launching new products. It encompasses constantly seeking fresh and compelling ways to connect with your audience and deliver exceptional value. The guiding principle here should be to zig when others zag.
Absolutely. And for you, the entrepreneur striving for a competitive advantage, a deep commitment to innovation offers some significant benefits. Foremost, it allows you to establish a real competitive edge by consistently staying ahead of the curve and offering something new and exciting.
Innovation also generates significant excitement and buzz among your customers. When you introduce novel and compelling offerings or experiences, it captures their attention and attracts new interest in your brand.
And in today's rapidly transforming market, continuous innovation is absolutely crucial for maintaining brand relevance. What resonated with your audience yesterday might not hold the same appeal tomorrow, so a proactive approach to innovation keeps you in the game.
Conversely, the consequences of neglecting innovation can be quite severe. The most significant risk is stagnation and eventual decline. Brands that become complacent and fail to adapt to changing market dynamics often lose market share to more agile and forward-thinking competitors.
The dinosaurs of the business world.
Pretty much. And as your competitors continue to introduce new and exciting offerings, your existing customers may become less engaged with what you provide and start looking elsewhere for more innovative solutions.
Furthermore, a lack of innovation can make it increasingly challenging to attract top talent. The most skilled and ambitious individuals often want to work for organizations that are pushing boundaries and involved in cutting-edge developments.
Let's examine some U.S. companies that have innovation deeply embedded in their organizational DNA. Netflix, for example, has consistently reinvented its business model, evolving from DVD rentals to streaming and then to producing original content, continuously pushing the boundaries of how we consume entertainment.
They never stand still.
Never. Google is another prime example. Innovation is at the very core of their operations, from their constantly refining search algorithms to their ventures into fields like self-driving vehicles and artificial intelligence. They are perpetually exploring new technological frontiers.
And even a seemingly established brand like Starbucks consistently demonstrates innovation, whether it's through introducing new and seasonal menu items, evolving their store design and atmosphere, or implementing convenient features like mobile ordering. They continually keep their brand fresh and relevant to evolving consumer preferences.
Right. Always something new. Now let's consider some companies that stumbled due to a failure to innovate. Blockbuster's inability to recognize and adapt to the rise of streaming video serves as a classic cautionary tale in the business world.
Oh, Blockbuster.
Yeah.
A big one.
And search engines that didn't prioritize user experience and continuously improve their search algorithms ultimately lost significant ground to Google's relentless focus on innovation in search technology. Similarly, coffee chains that were slow to adapt to shifting consumer tastes and preferences risked losing market share to Starbucks' more innovative and diverse product offerings and customer experiences.
So for you to effectively harness the power of innovation, it's essential to cultivate a culture of creativity and experimentation throughout your organization. Encourage brainstorming sessions, invest in research and development, and don't be afraid to take calculated risks on novel ideas.
And remember Neumeier's insight. Truly groundbreaking ideas can often feel a little unsettling or unconventional at first.
Right, don't be afraid of weird ideas initially.
Also, never underestimate the initial impact of a distinctive and memorable brand name coupled with visually compelling graphics in capturing the attention of your target audience.
Good graphics matter. Okay, our fifth critical area shifts our focus to the vital practice of validation. Neumeier stresses the importance of moving away from simply telling your audience what your brand is and instead actively engaging in a two-way dialogue.
It's a conversation.
Entrepreneurs should make it a priority to test their creative ideas in the real world before committing significant resources. This involves employing quick, cost-effective methods to gather meaningful feedback, overcome the natural fear of being wrong, and ultimately ensure that your brand resonates with your intended audience.
Exactly. And for you, the listener keen on minimizing potential risks, the advantages of rigorously validating your brand ideas are substantial. Firstly, it dramatically reduces the likelihood of investing significant resources in concepts that ultimately won't connect with your target customers.
It saves you money and heartache.
Definitely. Validation also provides invaluable insights that allow you to refine your brand messaging and your product or service offerings based on real-world feedback, making them significantly more effective and impactful.
And perhaps most importantly, when you actively validate your ideas, you gain a much stronger sense of confidence in your overall brand strategy, knowing that it has been tested and has a higher probability of achieving success in the market.
Conversely, failing to validate your brand ideas can lead to some costly and potentially damaging mistakes. One of the most significant consequences is the risk of wasted resources. Launching products or marketing campaigns based solely on internal assumptions, without any external validation, can result in substantial financial losses and a considerable waste of effort.
You also miss out on crucial opportunities for improvement. Without seeking feedback from your target audience, you might not identify potential weaknesses in your concepts or discover valuable ways to make them even stronger and more appealing.
And a poorly received launch, directly resulting from a lack of validation, can actually have a detrimental impact on your brand's reputation in the long run, potentially eroding customer trust.
So how do successful U.S. companies approach this crucial stage of validation? Procter & Gamble, for example, is widely recognized for its extensive market research and rigorous testing processes before launching new products or major brand campaigns.
P&G are masters at this.
Their approach is akin to a thorough field test, designed to accurately gauge consumer reaction and identify potential issues.
In the tech startup world, there's a strong emphasis on embracing lean methodologies, conducting A/B testing on various features and messages, and continuously gathering user feedback to validate product development and marketing strategies.
Test, iterate, test again.
Exactly.
And in the food and beverage industry, companies routinely conduct taste tests and gather detailed feedback on packaging designs and overall product concepts well in advance of a full-scale market launch.
Yeah, taste tests are key. These practices closely align with Neumeier's concepts of the swap test for evaluating brand elements like names and logos, and the hand test for assessing the tone and style of your brand's voice.
Those tests sound interesting.
They're very practical.
Yeah.
Now let's consider what can happen when companies don't prioritize validation. We often see businesses launch new products or services based purely on internal assumptions, and unfortunately, they frequently experience disappointing adoption rates and lackluster performance in the market.
And brands that roll out significant changes, such as new logos or revised messaging, without first soliciting feedback from their existing audience, risk alienating loyal customers and generating negative reactions.
Oh yeah, the logo backlash. Neumeier even alludes to what he terms the Great Swoosh epidemic, where numerous companies made significant branding changes without adequate validation and faced considerable negative backlash.
The swoosh epidemic, I like that.
And businesses that invest heavily in extensive advertising campaigns without first pre-testing their effectiveness with a representative sample of their target audience can end up with a very low return on their investment, as their message might not be resonating with the intended recipients.
So for you to effectively apply this principle, embrace what Neumeier refers to as cheap, quick, dirty tests. Utilize the swap test for evaluating potential trademarks and brand names, the hand test for assessing and refining your brand's unique voice, and the field test for obtaining early and actionable feedback on your product or service concepts.
Cheap, quick, and dirty. Love it.
Make it a habit to gather feedback early and often from your target audience, to validate your core assumptions and make necessary adjustments before you commit significant resources. Remember his crucial insight. It's far better to have a rough answer to the right question than a perfectly polished answer to the wrong one.
So true. Our sixth hidden power shifts our focus from the tangible aspects of a brand, its visual identity and messaging, to the more intangible yet equally critical element of its character. For entrepreneurs striving to build enduring brands, the emphasis needs to move towards intentionally cultivating a consistent pattern of behavior and a clear set of core values that resonate authentically with their target audience.
Right, it's about who you are, not just what you look like.
Think of it this way. Brands, in many respects, are akin to people. They possess distinct personalities.
Exactly. And for you, the listener aiming to forge genuine and lasting connections with your customers, cultivating a strong and well-defined brand character offers some profound benefits. Firstly, it builds a strong sense of authenticity and trust. When your brand consistently acts in alignment with its stated values and personality, customers are far more likely to trust your intentions and your offerings.
A well-defined brand personality also enables you to forge stronger emotional connections with your audience. People naturally gravitate towards and connect with brands that exhibit relatable and appealing character traits, fostering a sense of affinity.
And ultimately, a strong and consistent brand character can cultivate fervent brand advocacy. Customers who deeply connect with your brand's personality and values are far more likely to become loyal fans and enthusiastically spread the word about your offerings.
On the other hand, neglecting to cultivate a strong and consistent brand character can lead to some significant drawbacks. One of the most damaging is the very real risk of appearing inauthentic or disingenuous, which can erode customer trust and lead to skepticism about your brand's motivations.
Nobody likes a phony.
Nope. Without a clearly defined character, your brand can also come across as bland, generic, and lacking a distinct personality, making it significantly harder to stand out in a crowded marketplace and be easily remembered by your target audience.
And finally, it becomes considerably more challenging to build long-term, meaningful relationships with your customers if your brand lacks a consistent and relatable character. People tend to build lasting loyalty towards brands that feel like they stand for something beyond just their products or services.
So let's examine some U.S. companies that have masterfully cultivated a strong and resonant brand character. Patagonia, for instance, has a brand character deeply rooted in environmental responsibility and a commitment to sustainability.
They really live it.
This core value permeates every aspect of their operations, from their product design and sourcing to their active involvement in environmental advocacy.
Another compelling example is Ben & Jerry's. Their brand character is widely recognized for its commitment to social activism, its quirky and often humorous marketing, and its dedication to producing high-quality ice cream with responsibly sourced ingredients.
Ice cream with a conscience.
These traits are consistently reflected in their products, their marketing campaigns, and their overall business practices.
And REI embodies the character of the outdoors, adventure, and a strong sense of community. They attract customers who share these passions and values, fostering a deep sense of belonging and loyalty among their core customer base.
Now let's consider some common missteps that companies make when neglecting the development of a strong brand character. We often see companies making superficial environmental claims that lack genuine commitment or follow-through, which can quickly lead to accusations of greenwashing and damage their credibility in the eyes of consumers.
Yeah, that greenwashing is a real problem.
And brands that try too hard to be trendy or adopt a certain persona without a genuine understanding of their target audience or their own core values often come across as forced, inauthentic, and ultimately fail to resonate with consumers.
Trying too hard. It rarely works.
Similarly, retailers that lack a clear focus on building community or fostering shared values may struggle to cultivate the same level of deep customer loyalty that brands like REI have successfully achieved.
So for you to cultivate a lasting and impactful brand character, the crucial first step is to clearly define the core values and personality traits that you want your brand to embody. Then, and this is absolutely essential, ensure that these characteristics are consistently reflected in every single aspect of your business, from the quality of your products and services to your customer interactions, your marketing communications, and even your internal company culture.
Walk the talk.
As Neumeier aptly puts it, if a brand looks like a duck and swims like a dog, people will distrust it. You might even consider implementing a continuing brand education program for your team to ensure that everyone within your organization understands and consistently embodies the desired brand character in all their interactions.
Good idea. Okay, our seventh and final hidden power brings us to the crucial strategic level. the imperative of directly connecting your brand-building efforts to your overarching business goals.
Bring it all together.
Neumeier underscores that brand building is not merely a separate marketing function. Rather, it is a fundamental strategic tool that provides a sustainable competitive advantage and drives long-term business success, ultimately creating a positive cycle of increasing brand value and business growth.
Exactly. And for you, the entrepreneur striving for enduring success, the benefits of strategically aligning your brand with your business objectives are immense. First and foremost, it establishes a sustainable competitive advantage that is significantly more difficult for competitors to replicate in the long run.
Hard to copy a feeling, right?
Right. A strategically managed brand also significantly increases your overall brand value, transforming it into a substantial and valuable asset for your business, contributing directly to its overall worth.
And having a clear understanding of precisely how your brand supports your core business goals provides essential direction and focus for all your strategic decision-making, ensuring that your efforts are consistently working towards a common set of objectives.
Conversely, a disconnect between your brand strategy and your overarching business strategy can lead to significant inefficiencies and missed opportunities. One common consequence is the misallocation of marketing resources on efforts that don't actually contribute to your key business objectives.
Wasted money.
Yep. You might also experience a lower return on investment from your marketing and branding activities if they are not effectively driving customer acquisition and retention in a way that directly supports your stated business goals.
And ultimately, you may struggle to achieve your long-term business goals if you lack a strong and strategically aligned brand, actively driving those objectives and creating a unified market presence.
So let's examine some U.S. companies that have their brand strategy deeply and effectively interwoven with their core business goals. Coca-Cola, for instance, has a brand strategy that is inextricably linked to their overarching global ambition of achieving and maintaining market dominance in the beverage industry.
Happiness in a bottle, basically.
Their consistent global branding and massive marketing campaigns are all strategically geared towards achieving that fundamental business objective. IBM provides another insightful example. They strategically and deliberately shifted their brand over time as their core business focus evolved from primarily hardware manufacturing to software development and consulting services, ensuring that their brand messaging and overall offerings remain perfectly aligned with their new strategic direction.
Smart move. They adapted. And we can revisit Amazon here as well. Their core brand promise of convenience, vast selection, and reliable delivery directly supports their overarching strategic goal of becoming the ultimate go-to platform for online shopping and a multitude of other digital services.
It all ties back. Now let's consider some potential pitfalls that can arise when this crucial strategic alignment is absent. Companies that focus solely on short-term sales tactics without investing in building a strong and strategically aligned brand foundation often struggle to achieve sustained long-term growth and market leadership.
Businesses that fail to adapt their brand to evolving market conditions and shifting strategic priorities risk becoming increasingly irrelevant and losing their competitive edge as the market landscape changes around them.
And organizations where different internal teams hold conflicting ideas about the core brand vision will likely struggle to effectively meet their overall business objectives due to a lack of unified strategic direction and a cohesive market presence.
Oh, well, confusion.
So for you to succeed in this critical area, it's essential to ensure that your brand strategy is deeply and fundamentally integrated with your overall business strategy from the outset. Clearly define precisely how your brand will contribute to achieving your specific business goals.
Be intentional about it.
Regularly assess your brand's performance against these strategic objectives and make necessary adjustments to maintain that crucial strategic alignment. You might even consider the strategic value of having a dedicated Chief Branding Officer, CBO, within your organization to specifically bridge the critical gap between the often analytical world of business strategy and the more creative and perception-driven world of brand design and communication.
A CBO. Interesting. Okay.
So to recap our deep dive into the essential principles of the brand gap, we've explored 7 crucial hidden powers of branding. Understanding that your brand fundamentally resides in the gut feeling of your audience.
The gut feeling, number 1.
The critical imperative of effective differentiation, the inherent strength found in genuine collaboration, the vital role of innovation in driving growth, the indispensable practice of thorough validation.
Testing.
The enduring power of a well-defined brand character, and the ultimate strategic advantage of ensuring deep alignment with your core business goals. Each of these interconnected elements plays a vital role in effectively bridging the gap between your overarching business strategy and your brand's tangible design and communication, ultimately paving the way for greater and more sustainable entrepreneurial success.
And for you, our ambitious learner, we leave you with this final thought. Now that you have a deeper understanding that your brand truly lives and breathes in the minds of your audience, what is the single most important gut feeling you want to cultivate in them?
Just one feeling.
And what is one concrete, actionable step you can take today to begin intentionally influencing that critical perception?
Thank you for joining us on the deep dive. We trust that these insights will provide you with a valuable new perspective as you continue to build a powerful and lasting brand.
Until our next exploration, keep diving deep into what truly matters. It's interesting, isn't it? We pour so much energy into crafting the perfect image for our businesses, the logo, the colors, the meticulously worded mission statement.
Yeah, all that stuff.
But what if all that effort is, in a way, secondary? What if your brand boils down to something far more visceral, that instant gut feeling someone else has about you?
That's the core, isn't it?
Understanding that one fundamental truth unlocks a surprising amount of power for anyone trying to build something lasting. Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Hello.
Today we're cutting straight to the heart of brand building, extracting the core wisdom from Marty Neumeier's insightful book, The Brand Gap.
A classic.
Think of this as your essential guide to the 7 key disciplines that bridge the strategic thinking of business with the often more, intuitive world of design.
That's right. This deep dive is tailored for you, the ambitious learner who's looking for clarity in a sometimes noisy world. We're going to distill the essential principles, giving you a framework to understand why certain brands just resonate deeply. Whether you're leading a company, starting a new venture, or simply curious about what makes a brand stick, we'll provide actionable insights without getting bogged down in, jargon.
Absolutely. So in our conversation today, we're going to explore 7 critical aspects of building a powerful brand. First, we'll get to the core of why your brand isn't what you declare it to be, but rather that feeling in your customer's gut.
The gut feeling.
Crucial. Then we'll tackle the vital necessities